Hey there, Happy New Year. This collectible connoisseur coming at you with a new video. Um, One of my New Year's resolutions was to kind of lean in more to the things that I truly love. Make sure that I'm doing, the things, spending the time and doing the things that I love doing. And one of the things that I love doing is thumbing through my collection and talking about it. So this is an opportunity to talk, and you are invited, if you wish, to leave a comment and make it more of a conversation rather than a dissertation. This past holiday year, I want to talk in this instance about the particular card you see before you. This was a Christmas gift from my cousin Robert. Robert is a card collector, and he is an artist, and this is an original piece of card art that he made for me. Features my favorite player, Chris Spielman. You'll notice, of course, Spielman played most notably for the Detroit Lions in the NFL. Robert was able to manufacture not only great card, and I'll talk about the card in a bit, but to do so in the Lions colors, blue and silver. Man, I really dig that. And it's got great shine. It really pops. And of course, it features one of my all-time favorite players. And let me just kind of riff on Chris Spielman for a moment, because I know a bit about him. Like I said, one of my all-time favorites. Spielman grew up in Massillon, Ohio, went to Washington High School, where he was a highly sought-after recruit by colleges. In fact, in high school, he was the first ever high school athlete to be featured on the cover of a Wheaties box. After kind of a very strident recruiting period where for a while Spielman thought he might like to attend the University of Michigan, he got things right in his head and he chose the Ohio State Buckeyes, where he stepped into what is a wonderful legacy of linebackers at Ohio State. Penn State, hey, they've got some good ones, and they call themselves Linebacker U, but consider for a moment guys like Pepper Johnson, Marcus Merrick, Tom Cousineau, Randy Gradishar, Stan White, who all preceded Chris Spielman's tenure at Ohio State. And let's mention a few guys that followed him. Guys like James Laurinaitis, A.J. Hawk, Andy Katzenmoyer, Niall Diggs, Lorenzo Stiles. Ohio State kind of holds their own, and really the best to ever do it there, Chris Spielman. Spielman was a 3-year starter at Ohio State. He would have been a 4-year starter, but he struggled with some injuries his freshman year. As a 3-year starter, he was 3 times All Big Ten. He was 2 times a consensus All-American. And his senior year, he won the Lombardi Award, which is typically awarded to a lineman, but technically linebackers are eligible for it, and he was the best in the land his senior year, 1987. Chris Spielman, to this day, holds the Ohio State record for solo tackles, and he was drafted in the 2nd round. Can you believe that? The freaking 2nd round. How did everyone pass on him once? Well, he was 6 feet tall, weighed about 240, so he didn't have great size, and he wasn't exceptionally quick. He ran a 4.940, but he had tenacity, perseverance, grit, heart, whatever you want to call it, the intangible thing that just, he was driven and made a ton of tackles. Spielman played for the Lions, played a couple years for the Buffalo Bills, and wrapped up his NFL career, his 10-year NFL career, with the Cleveland Browns. And at the end of it, he only led the league in tackles 1 year. But the end of his NFL career. He ended up, well, I don't know where he ended up, but currently, as of the 2022 season, he's 18th on the all-time list of solo tackles. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler. I don't know why he doesn't get more Hall of Fame consideration, but great NFL player, and kind of was a personal inspiration for me. He was at Ohio State, my favorite college football team, when I was in high school. So I'm about four years younger than he is, and so when he was in college, I was doing everything I could to emulate him on the gridiron. In high school, I wore number 54, the uniform number that he ended up with in the pros. In college, he was number 36, which was, I don't know, just a cool, just seemed like such an oddball number, but he made it cool. And at that time, when he went to the NFL was pretty strict about different positions being assigned different numbers. Linebackers, for instance, really were only wearing numbers in the 50s or the 90s. Wide receivers really only wore numbers in the 80s. Offensive and defensive linemen were really only in the 50s, 60s, or 70s. Running backs and defensive backs, 20s, 30s, 40s. You get the picture. Quarterbacks were single digits or teens. Now numbering is all over the place. But I digress. He wore number 54, which was my number, which is why this speaks to me. He came out, again, second-round draft choice of the Detroit Lions, and, joined a team that had Barry Sanders, Andre Ware, and just made them cool. Did he make them good? No, the Lions weren't especially good. But, man, what a fun team to watch. And so I was always a big fan of Spielman. And Robert and I have had many conversations about, favorite players. And I was touched that he remembered and drew on those conversations in making this piece of art. This is, you can see a couple of different cards kind of combined here in one. The image of Spielman is off the 1995 Upper Deck card. Of course, on the Upper Deck card, he's centered and it's more of a photograph. Robert painstakingly made the cut to pull the image, and then he offset it. It's over a silver cracked ice background, which honestly, shiny cards have a special place in my heart. I know it's maybe not the traditionalist point of view, but love them. And then, if you want to speak to me, say my number, and there it is, 54. Big and bold, also in silver on the background. Put that into a 1990 Fleer. 90 Fleer had kind of that archway, and so Robert, cut out that arch and put the image, framed the image inside that arch. Again, the silver and blue resonating or highlighting the Lions colors there. And I love it. I mean, this is so put together and looks so good. This speaks to me on so many levels, and I really dig what he's done here. And of course, this is an RBH original, a 101 by Robert. I would be remiss if I didn't give kind of his work a shout out. Robert is a university professor, kind of splits times between two different schools in Alabama, and also, lifelong artist, creator. If you're interested in card art or maybe even other art, I encourage you to check out some of his work. You can see him on Instagram at rbh.art, rbh.art on Instagram. Or if you want to view some other pieces of work, you'll find him on Etsy at ArtByRobertH. ArtByRobertH on Etsy. Anyways, I appreciate this Christmas present. Robert, if you get to see this video, thank you. Love it. I appreciate Chris Spielman, and I appreciate all of you for watching. Happy New Year to you, and look forward to speaking to you again sometime soon.